Welcome to The Needle, your Division I college basketball podcast. I'm Jack Williams, owner and operator of D1CoachCorner.com, your source for college basketball news, rankings, and predictions. On this podcast, we present to you weekly conversations on D1 college basketball coaches and their teams. Don't forget to go right now on your computer, phone, or tablet and follow us on Twitter. This episode of The Needle is brought to you by D1CoachCorner.com, your source for Division I college basketball coaches.
Thank you once again for tuning to our 32nd episode of The Needle. Again, my name is Jack Williams, owner and operator of D1CoachCorner.com, your source for college basketball news, rankings, and predictions. D1 Coach Corner is the number one source for college basketball preseason predictions and college basketball coach evaluations. The Needle College Basketball Podcast will bring to you 52 weeks of college basketball talk on topics dealing with Division I college basketball coaches and their teams. In this episode of The Needle, we'll be ranking the Mountain West Conference for the 2019-2020 season. And then we'll get into some college basketball news and our new Coach Impact segment of the show, which will highlight coaches who have recently taken over a team and who has positively impacted that team as a result of him being there. And if you like our show, go subscribe to our iTunes and YouTube channels. Let us continue to be your number one source for preseason college basketball predictions and college basketball coach evaluations. As a disclaimer, some teams are still in the midst of building and still have scholarships left available to fill. With that said, we may more than likely have to do an update before the start of the 2019-20 season, and some rankings may change. Coach Craig Smith had this Utah State team playing at a very high level in the 2018-2019 season. Utah State should continue that success in 2019-2020. New Mexico played in the middle of the pack last season, but should improve on their record in 2019-2020 with the addition of some very solid transfers. San Diego State will remain competitive, and Coach Dave Pifovich should have his Air Force team continuing the success that he had in 2018 and 2019. With that said, here's how we rank the Mountain West for the 2019-2020 season. Coming in at number one are the Utah State Aggies. Second-year coach Greg Smith has his Utah State team ready to take over the Mountain West in 2019-2020. This team has several key players returning from a roster that finished in the first round of the NCAA tournament, which includes their top three scorers, Sam Mira, Diago Brito, and Nehemiah Keita. This Utah State team was good in all categories last season, which includes scoring, defense, assists, and rebounding. Expect this Utah State team to surprise a lot of people in the 2020 NCAA tournament. My projected starting five for this team is Abel Porter, Sam Miro, Brock Miller, Roche Grutham, and Nehemiah Keita. Coming in at number two are the New Mexico Lobos. Scoring should remain high for New Mexico with the return of their top two scorers, Vance Jackson and Carlton Bragg. Both scoring and defense should improve with the additions of Division I transfers Zane Martin and Jaquan Lyle. Martin, a transfer from Townsend, was the top point producer for his Townsend team in 2017-2018. He is also a very good defender. In his final season at Townsend, he averaged 19.8 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.7 assists per game. Lyle, who didn't play the entire 2018-19 season, should be ready for the 2019-2020 season. Lyle's passing skills should help New Mexico to improve dramatically in scoring. Expect this New Mexico team to give Utah State a run for their money. My projected starting five for this team is Jaquan Lyle, Vance Jackson, Mukach Maluach, Carlton Bragg, and Corey McNagal. Coming in at number three are the San Diego State Aztecs. San Diego State had problems scoring last season. However, they are looking to correct that problem by strengthening their backcourt with the additions of graduate transfer KJ Fegan, Washington State transfer Malachi Flynn, and JUCO transfer Jay Pulliam. This is going to be one of the strongest backcourts in the Mountain West. Fegan was hurt in his senior season at Santa Clara after 2 games, but after sitting out the remainder of the season, he should be healthy and ready to go. San Diego State should also look for Nolan Norang to step up and play a bigger role in the lineup. Expect this San Diego State team to compete for the top of the Mountain West. My projected starting five for this team is KJ Fagan, Jordan Shakal, Matt Mitchell, Nolan Lorraine, and Nathan Menza. Coming in at number 4 are the Air Force Falcons. The Air Force will be returning 5 of their frequent starters from the 2018-2019 season. What this team is lacking in offense, they made up in defense. The Air Force ranked 6th in the Mountain West in defense, holding their opponents to an average 68.6 points per game. Hopefully, this team will find a way to put up more points on the board. The Air Force should be a middle-of-the-conference team in 2019-2020. My projected starting 5 of this team is Caleb Morris, Caton Van Solen, A.J. Walker, Lavelle Scotty, and Ryan Swan. Coming in at number 5 are the Boise State Broncos. Boise State will get back several key players from the 2018-2019 season, which includes their top 3 scorers, Alex Hobbs, Justinian Jessup, and Derek Alston. Let's just hope that this Boise State team will find a way to put more points on the board. Boise State was ranked 8th in the Mountain West and 202nd nationally in scoring offense last season. This is also a very small team in size, so expect rebounding to suffer as usual. My projected starting 5 for this team is Marcus Dickinson, Alex Hobbs, Justinian Jessup, Derek Alston, and Robin George. Coming in at number 6 is the Nevada Wolfpack. The Wolfpack will begin the season with a new coach and Steve Alford, a coach who knows how to win and a coach who has the experience coaching in the Mountain West. Lindsey Drew, who was seriously injured in the late 2017-2018 season, should be healthy and available to play. Drew averaged 8.1 points and 4.1 rebounds per game in 2017-2018 before being injured. Nevada has also added 2 of the top JUCO transfers in the country to their roster in Eric Parrish and Roby Robinson. We expect both to top the Wolfpack starting lineup in 2019 and 2020. My projected starting 5 for this team is Lindsey Drew, Jalen Harris, Eric Parrish, Roby Robinson, and Zane Meeks. Coming in at number 7 are the Colorado State Rams. Colorado State has several key players returning as well. However, this team is small and may continue to have problems rebounding and defending the rim. Colorado State may continue to struggle to make their way to the top of the Mountain West. My projected starting 5 for this team is Kendall Moore, Chris Martin, Adam Thriswood, Nico Carvacho, and Deshaun Thomas. Coming in at number 8 are the Fresno State Bulldogs. Fresno State has only one player on the roster who averaged double digits in scoring last season. The question is, can Fresno State score as many points in 2019-20 as they have in the previous season? Fresno State ranked 3rd in the Mountain West and 75th in the nation in scoring offense last season, with an average of 76.5 points per game. My projected starting 5 for this team is Noah Blackwell, New Williams, Nate Grimes, Chris Seeley, and Lazaro Rojas. Coming in at number 9 are the Wyoming Cowboys. Wyoming was seriously hit by injuries last season. Hunter Maldonado and Austin Mueller were both out for the season after just 8 games. Both of them should be healthy enough next season to make a difference on the team. However, this team was absolutely terrible in nearly all categories last season. For a team that had so many guards on the roster, they were dead last in the Mountain West in assists. They were also at the bottom of the Mountain West in the defense and rebounding categories. My projected starting 5 for this team is Jake Henderson, A.J. Banks, Trevon Taylor, Hunter Maldonado, and Hunter Thomas. At number 10 are the UNLV Rebels. UNLV would need Bryce Hamilton and Nick Blair to play bigger roles on this team. Both players have the potential to put up big numbers for next season. There is still some concern about depth on this team, both in the front court and the back court. Getting to the top of the Mountain West may be an uphill battle for this team. My projected starting 5 is Omari Hardy, Elijah Mitro Long, Nick Blair, and Sheik Mabaki Dion. And finally, at number 11 are the San Jose State Spartans. This San Jose State team sat in last place in the Mountain West last season. Looking at this roster, there is not one player on the team who has averaged double digits in scoring on the Division I level ever. Expect this team to continue to struggle. My projected starting 5 is Bray Ivy, Zach Chappell, Seneca Knight, Craig LeCesna, and Christian Anigwe. And so much for that. And now on to some college basketball news. The Paul's head coach Dave Leitao will be suspended for the first 3 games of the regular season for violating NCAA rules. Furman hired Villanova's athletic director Jason Donnelly to become its athletic director. Cleveland State hired Florida's assistant coach Dennis Gates to become their new head coach. Their previous coach, Dennis Felton, was fired after just 2 seasons. Connecticut has agreed to pay the American Conference a $17 million exit fee to join the Big East in 2020. And that concludes our needle moving portion of the show. We'll now move on to our new Coach Impact segment of the show. This portion of the show will be brought to you by D1CoachCorner.com, your source for college basketball news, rankings, and prediction. Once again, don't forget to go follow us on Twitter after the show. In this new Impact segment, we'll be discussing coaches who have been head coach of a particular Division I basketball team for no more than 5 years and who are on the upward trend towards taking that team to another level. This week's New Coach Impact highlights Coach Craig Smith of Utah State once again. Coach Smith has this Utah State team ready to finish at the top of the Mountain West once again. Coach Smith led Utah State to the NCAA tournament in 2019 for the first time since 2011. Coach Smith is one of our new coaches on the rise. And that concludes our show for this week. Join us next week at the same time and channel for a new episode. We'll be happy to take your questions and comments on our Twitter handle for the next episode. Our Twitter handle is at D1CoachCorner. That is at D1CoachCorner. See you next week.